Hello everybody. It's been a little bit since I've done one of these videos. Like I've been a busy month this last month with the holidays and lots of stuff going on. First off, the Metal Church books are finally at the printers. Paperbacks should be done in a couple of weeks here, and then probably early to mid-February on the hardcovers. They take a little bit longer to produce. We've got a new book we announced since I last posted on here. It is a book on Queensryche's touring history for the original lineup with Chris DeGarmo and Jeff Tate and everybody. And that is written by my co-writers for Building an Empire. Brian Heaton was the main author on this one, and Brian Aaron, my partner and co-writer on some of the books and projects for Metalworx, helped with that one. And that's a big coffee table type book like Rusted Metal was, all colored pages in both the paperback and hardcovers, and that spans from the initial shows that they played as the Mob in '81 to when they were signed in '83 and started touring the world. And so that is up for pre-orders now on the Northwest Metalworx music site. And that one actually is cranking right along. It's done being written. Designer Brian Heaton starting to work with the designer on that one and looking at having that out probably late March. Then we just announced a couple record projects over the last few weeks here, including the recently announced one today. Is we signed the War Babies guys to release some original studio and live material that's never come out before. Some of it was intended for a second album, and then there's some couple live songs from a radio broadcast and a couple other ones. So that's going to be a pretty neat release. And then a couple weeks back or so, we announced that we were doing a record with the guys from Coven, the Everett thrash metal band. And then I had my props actually, I forgot to show, but for those who are not familiar, War Babies was Brad Sinsel of TKO, the singer, Tom McMullen from Slaughterhouse-5, Rich Stuverud was the drummer who played with the Fastbacks and a bunch of other bands, and he played on the Suicide Squad album with Brad Sinsel and Rick Pierce. One record for Columbia, were signed a major label. They toured around for this, got some radio and video play. Unfortunately, they kind of held it back for too long, and instead of coming out in '91, it came out in early or like spring of '92, something like that. And of course, grunge had happened, and these guys were definitely more in the line of TKO, kind of hard rock metal with a little bit of elements of grunge type of stuff. It's pretty cool stuff. If you like TKO and that sort of thing, you definitely like these guys. The unreleased stuff is really good like that as well. Definitely not throwaway material. Like I said, it was intended to be for a second album. And then the Coven guys, they did have they had 3 records that came out. The first one was in '87, was Blessed is the Black, which is kind of oftentimes fan favorite one. This was released on Everrat first in '87, and then they got signed to Medusa with Enema for distribution, and they reissued that the following year. And then in 1989, they did their second album, Death Walks Behind You. Very solid, like the original. Their metal definitely is kind of in the thrash realm, sort of kind of a humorous Slayer, they've been called. There's some definite elements of Metallica and Metal Church and that sort of thing, old school Metallica. And then they split up a little while later and got back together. 3 of the guys, Jay, the singer, Dean, the guitarist, and Paul, the other guitarist, with a different drummer, and they did their 3rd record, Boneless Christian, played a number of shows and then kind of eventually split up. They reformed about a decade ago, Been playing live shows with the newer singer, the Babbitt brothers, drummer Neil and guitarist Dean are the two original members, and Eric Close on bass, and they've had a couple different guitarists over the time. Paul Pash has even got up and played a couple shows with them as a guest. Now, currently joined them a few months back is Russ Stefanovic, the guitarist from Bitter End. They've opened for Metal Church and done a few cool shows around since he's gotten into the lineup, and they're working on some new material. So our release with them is going to be some previously unreleased demos from 1984, recordings actually, from 1984 and 1987. The 84 demos were actually the first demos they did in a studio as a three-piece with just the drummer. Jay played bass and sang, and then Dean on guitar, different drummer, Ward Whistler. And then they became the five-piece the following year, did the demos for the first record and so on. The 87 demos were actually recorded with interest from MCA's label Mechanic. Didn't end up getting signed with them, but they had sent that material to them, and since the label had it, I guess they ended up doing mostly new material for Death Walk. So this is a lot of really cool unreleased stuff. And we've got a couple live tracks as well that should be on there. So it should be all really good releases. We've got a couple other record projects we're working on getting signed right now that are in they have the contracts. We're just waiting for those to be finalized, and then we'll announce those as well this year. And I already started working on a new book on a Northwest band, which I will reveal down the line here a bit as that's closer to being done. But I think everybody's going to be pretty excited about it. So a lot happening. We've got some other things in the works as well. So yeah, thanks for everybody, continual support over the years of Northwest Metalworx music and books. And we're pretty excited to bring you guys more as time goes on. So northwestmetalworxmusic.com is the website. You can check out what we're doing. We have a Facebook page and all that good stuff, Instagram. So yeah, so if you like what we're doing here, please do subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Oh, next one, I'm planning on continuing with the letter band series that I've been doing out of the Rusted Metal book. It's going to be a two-parter on the letter S, as there's so many bands for that letter. So we'll split it up a little bit. So, all right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.